Welcome to the Colon with the Boys podcast, where we bring you new content creators every week. We are your hosts, Asen and Nathan.
Hello.
You don't sound like shit anymore.
Dude, it's still there, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. It went from my nasal cavity down into my lungs, and now I'm coughing up Kermit the Frog, so...
You're coughing up Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I feel like... Okay, so I've been taking this Mucinex stuff, and I was walking from my back office up to the front the other day, and I coughed, and green Kermit the Frog came flying out of my mouth onto the ground. It was disgusting.
What other color would Kermit the Frog be?
It's green. That's why I said I'm coughing up Kermit the Frog.
But you said green Kermit the Frog.
Dude, he's got a red mouth. He's got wide eyeballs. He's all sorts of different kind of colors.
Nah, he's just green.
Whatever. Dude, he probably has yellow feet. Calm down.
Weird.
Well, whenever people turn their hands over, if they're really tan, the top of their hands are dark, and then they flip their hands over, and then they're a lot whiter. So the opposite of green is yellow. So
the opposite.
Maybe
of
not.
Green
Maybe
is
not the
yellow.
opposite, but the lighter color of green is yellow.
Lemon lime.
Dude, that's what I'm drinking right now too. Diet 7-Up lemon lime soda.
There you go.
That's probably where I got it.
All right. Anyway, so this is episode 50, dude.
Good grief. 50.
The big 50. We're halfway to knowing what we're supposed to do on a podcast according to podcast articles.
What was that guy's name? John Lee Dumas?
Yeah, he said that you won't know what the hell you're doing on a podcast until you get 100 episodes in. So we're halfway there, guys, and then maybe we'll have a good show. We'll see.
Exactly.
But anyway, this is episode 50, titled Partner Pushing, Yay or Nay?
I'm going to say no. I don't like it. But if I was a Twitch streamer and they were going to partner push me, I'd be all about it.
Well, don't tell them. They're going to have to listen to the episode.
Oh, well, fine. It sounded like you were asking me a question, so...
That was just the title of the episode.
You were like, yay or nay, and then you sat there and looked at me.
Is going to have to say yay or nay.
Well, I answered it for him.
Well, I disagree with Nathan.
You had to listen to the episode to find out.
You'll have to listen. But it's with special guest Nick, a.k.a. Gremlin785. We talked to him about his stream and why we invited him on our podcast, which was a discussion over Twitter if partner pushing was a good thing or bad thing, pros and cons. And we kind of break all that down, I would say in the last half of the podcast. So don't expect to go right in the podcast when we're talking about it. But yeah, we definitely break it down and see why it can be good, why it can be bad, and so on. But it's a very civil discussion, so it's not like I'm sitting here yelling at anybody. But Nathan is... What the fuck were you going to say?
It doesn't matter.
But anyway, so I hope everyone enjoys it. Let's sit back, relax, and open a cold.
Yeah. I just wanna crack that door with that boys, yeah. No more baby mamas, no more kids to watch, cause I got babysitters. Now it's time for licking, come on, give it to me, cause it's my escape. Now it's time to annihilate, so my troubles all die away. I'm on a diet, Please do not try this, cause do not invite it. I'm dripping in go call the Midas. This night I was excited, it got me reignited. I've been waiting so long I can't fight it, but now I'm Mike Tyson inside, I'm on fire. It ain't nothing like a true bro. Brotherhood worth more than a blood.
I'm gonna clear my throat here for about 30 seconds. So.
Wow.
Hey, you want me to do it now or in the middle while you're speaking?
I
should probably
quick,
do it while you're speaking. That way people don't have to listen to your annoying voice.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's how it's gonna be.
It's gonna be one of those days, dude. So I know you and your girlfriend just moved back home. Now, when you guys lived up in Seattle, how much TV did you guys watch?
Zero.
Zero TV? Okay.
I mean, if you count Netflix's TV.
Well, yeah.
like almost zero.
Almost zero. Okay.
Where did you guys just move back to?
I moved back to Oklahoma, which is where I'm originally from. I know you're in Kansas, which
Yeah. I've
by the-
actually been to Oklahoma a couple times because the gambling age is 18.
hell
I
yeah,
turned
dude.
I turned 21 in April, so I've been down to play Texas Hold'em a couple times.
Nice.
At the Hard Rock,
I can't remember what the name of it was. I'd have to look it up.
because the big one here in the Tulsa area, which I'm assuming is where you probably went.
I'm
I w-
gonna guess right past the border.
I want to say it was in Norman.
Oh shit! You
so
drove
you went
way
past.
down there.
Yeah, you went. That's like where OU is.
It was a really nice casino though. It's a pretty big place.
Yeah. Yeah, like Hard Rock is the big one here. Like it's freaking huge. It's like a skyscraper hotel casino.
Mhm.
It's huge. But yeah, I actually saw you're from Kansas, saw you're a Chiefs fan, and that's if I were to go for a team in the NFL, it's definitely the Chiefs. So
Man, even not being a Chiefs fan is like watching the games is still entertaining because if you're watching two teams play football, and you're not a fan of either team, just like a neutral game, it's somewhat entertaining. But at the same time, if your team's not playing, it's like eh. But if you're watching the Chiefs play, there's always something crazy happening. I mean, with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, the man makes some insane plays. Like his highlight reel just this season alone is like freaking 20 minutes long. You know, it's crazy.
yeah, I just hope that like I know this is bad for me to say if I'm a Chiefs fan, but I just hope they don't choke again in the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. Of course. Yeah.
They seem to always be doing that. But I mean, I've followed kind of. I haven't really followed them, but like I've been watching the Chiefs and been a fan since like Priest Holmes, which was like early 2000s, late 90s, something like that.
Yep. Like I said, I'm 20, so I started watching as young as I can remember, and I've been through the 2-14 seasons or whatever else. And
Yeah.
so, you know.
So I'm not a bandwagoner. That's what I'm trying to get across here.
Yeah, right.
What made you like? We're swerving way off of what I was getting ready to ask you, but what made you want to be a Chiefs fan?
Me?
Yeah,
It's just close by.
is
to
that all
here.
it was? Proximity.
Pretty much. I
We
mean,
have Cowboys south of us.
yeah, but they were like overrated. Everyone was a Cowboys fan.
Well, everybody's still a cat. Well, I wouldn't say everybody's still a Cowboys fan, but I mean, who else do we have?
That
We
was like
have-
the bandwagon team to go to. I
we had
pretty
the
much
Rams.
yeah,
St. Louis Rams.
yeah. I like the Rams and the Chiefs. Those were kind of the two I followed. And early
Speaking
on,
of
I was probably more of a Rams fan, but I mean now they're gone. So
the Rams and the Chiefs played earlier this year. I don't know if you caught that game or not. It was a Monday night game, and they set a record for most points scored in an NFL game.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I did see that.
It was insane.
It was like a college game. It's
right.
the amount of
right.
points that were scored. I don't remember the final score, but
Are there defenses weak this year? I haven't kept up with the NFL at all.
The Chiefs defense is by far the worst defense in the league. Like it's not even close.
So it's kind of like OU. We have a really good offense with the worst defense in the league.
And we just played the Raiders, and the first 4 drives, we forced turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles recovered by the Chiefs. But that's the Raiders. I mean, they're 3-15 or 3-12 or whatever it is this year. So
Are they the ones going to Vegas?
yeah, next year.
yep.
So what is it going to be? The Vegas? It's not the Vegas Raiders, is it?
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're gonna
No,
keep
it
them.
doesn't sound right, does it?
No, it doesn't.
The
but
LA
neither.
or not LA LV Raiders? Like that's weird.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they're gonna keep the franchise just because they have a huge fan base. But I don't know, when were they good. I don't remember a time when the Raiders were good.
I don't either. I mean, last year they had kind of like a fluke year in a good way, I guess. Derek Carr's like first season,
Yeah,
he played pretty well. They made the playoffs, but then he got injured in the playoffs, and so they took an early exit. But
yeah. I don't know. That does sound odd. Vegas Raiders.
I don't know. I quit paying attention to professional football years ago. Excuse me. Had a
it's really
burp.
the only sport that I follow. Baseball here and there. Obviously, the Royals won the World Series in 2015, but
Yeah,
since
but that
then,
was
they've kind of
exciting.
fell off. And then I'm not a basketball fan at all. So
Same.
Wow.
It's too many basketball games, man.
Yeah, they play too much.
Well, I mean, it's the same with baseball too.
That's why I don't watch baseball. I love baseball, but I can't watch it. They have like 3,000 games in the season. And it's like, how are you not just dead tired all the time?
Because baseball, you like sit
baseball
most of the time, dude.
Is that it can't end in a tie. Like a lot of people hate that the games are so long and they could technically go on forever. But I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like I think because I'm from Bulgaria, I'm from Europe, so I'm a big soccer fan, and I think that's why soccer will never become a big sport here is because ties are possible, and people here just can't do that.
Dude, we have to have winners, bro.
I know
we're a win or lose country. You're either gonna fucking win or you're gonna lose. Like that whole
there's no
tie
in
shit.
between.
Both the loser doesn't get a trophy, bro. Even though that's the way we're going, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But anyway, so let's introduce the guest we have. We have Nick, a.k.a. Gremlin785. I want to know, firstly, the origin of that. I mean, I know what a gremlin is, but why did you choose that name?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I come from the competitive Call of Duty scene where, you know, everybody has a unique gamer tag that they go by, whether it's something that they came up with that relates to their name or whatever. And I was literally sitting here because my gamer tag used to be like back when I was 13, 14 years old. It was literally Nick with a bunch of numbers on the end.
Yeah.
And you obviously can't go by that. Like, well, I mean, you can, but you know, you want to be, you want to have the cool gamer tag and whatnot.
Right.
And so sitting here, I specifically remember playing Call of Duty Ghosts, and I'm sitting here playing like the league player, the ranked play system, whatever they had, and I'm thinking, man, I got to come up with something that's not Nick. And so I was sitting here thinking, like, I even like Googled, like, you know, whatever it is, cool gamer tags, and Gremlin just stuck with me for whatever reason, and I've been Gremlin for 5, almost 6 years now.
There it is.
Gremlin, is that the thing you don't feed after midnight?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Also,
okay, was that a Furby?
No.
it was a Furby and a movie, and another thing actually that I don't tell people. Like, people will come into my stream, right, and they'll be like, "Yo, Gremlin, I love the movies," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I've never seen the movies."
I've never seen it either.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Dude, who watches that shit?
Hold on. You've been Gremlin for like 5 or 6 years, but you can't watch the movies? Like,
I've seen like the bits and the pieces throughout the years or whenever it was on at a friend's house or whatever, but I've never sat down and watched the Gremlin movies, which is I probably need to do at some point because it's going to keep happening, obviously.
yeah, and like there's little things you could take from the movies to just add to the channel,
Well, actually,
maybe as little
it's another thing.
Easter eggs.
The lady who did my emotes when I got affiliated on Twitch, she was like, "Oh, your tier 3 emote could be a gremlin with like some 3D glasses on eating some popcorn like from the movie," and I'm like, okay,
yeah, sure, that sounds great.
Yeah, do it. So my tier 3 emote has to do with the movie, and I literally don't even know what it means.
You gotta have an emote with Gizmo, dude. I wonder if she drew Gizmo. I'd have to look at your emote. Gizmo's the little main gremlin that hasn't turned bad. It's like white and brown fur.
So
yeah,
is that what a Furby is, or no?
No, Furby is completely different.
That was like a children's toy, right?
Yes.
Based off of the movie is called Gremlins.
Yes.
Okay, and the Furby is based off of that.
No.
No. Okay, I'm
completely
gonna
separate.
check
I feel
right
like
now.
there are gremlin Furbies though.
Probably. That's probably true. But no, it's like if you it's been so long. I think it's like if you give them water or feed them after midnight, they turn into those fucking crazy gremlins that like kill people.
See, like people make that joke too, where I stream pretty late normally, and people will make the joke like, "Oh, it's past midnight. Shouldn't you be doing whatever?" And I'm like,
yeah. So if you can't feed them after midnight, when can you start feeding them again? Because
dude,
all day is after
a kid's
midnight.
Movie. I don't fucking know.
That's true. After midnight, like it's literally
all day, right? Because like
the
it's
next midnight.
Exactly. Like I'm always made the same comparison with what's that other saying? Like you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day.
What?
Yeah, I mean, is it Labor Day or Memorial Day? One of those. You're not supposed to wear like white suits or like if you get married after a certain part of the year, you're not supposed to wear like a pure white wedding dress or something like that. I'd have to go grab Anna. But I was like, well, when is it acceptable to start wearing white again? And does it start on January 1st and then after? I don't know. Like that never made sense to me.
Well, that makes a little bit more sense though. Just like if it was, can't feed them after 10 p.m. instead of midnight, you'd have those like 2 hours and
Right.
then a new day starts. But
Exactly.
literally midnight is a brand new day, so it's like there's no resetting.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some kind of, I just don't remember what it was, but I'm sure
You're
they
not
said
a real
like,
fan, bro.
I'm really not. It's just like I've seen it though. Like it's a classic. It's a classic you gotta see.
I've actually, while we're on the topic of being Gremlin785 or whatever it is, I've actually contemplated over the past couple of months or even the weeks of like changing my gamer tag and just becoming like rebranding completely.
Mm-hmm.
But I strayed away from that idea because the brand I've built over the past 6 months on Twitch is working, and I have the logo, obviously emotes, pretty much the whole branding is based off of it, and I don't want to have to completely change everything.
Yeah, this is the thing, man. With something like that, I've actually experienced kind of the same thing because I would call myself an amateur EDM artist. Like I make electronic dance music, but I don't feel like I'm great at it or anything.
Amateur loser.
Wow. Anyway, so I had a brand of like my shameless plug here. My name was Frenemy on YouTube, Frenemy Official, and like 6 months after I made that, I was like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever thought of. Why did I go? Why is Frenemy my name? That's stupid. I thought it was cool, I guess, at the time, but it doesn't matter what the name is. If you get popular, if you get good at your craft, like it doesn't matter what your name is, people are gonna love it. Like,
right.
You think of some popular names now, like I don't know why I go back to this one a lot, but like the band Smashing Pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't popular, if they were just some startup band, it'd be like Smashing Pumpkins. That's weird. But now that they're really popular, it's like, oh, that's badass. You automatically associate like something good with that name. So it doesn't matter how stupid it may be from the outside. I don't know.
Right. There's literally a jazz band called like the Hot Sardines or something like that, and they're pretty popular. So I guess it's working. But it doesn't matter what the name is, but like I'm not sure how to word this correctly. It does matter having the same handle or link across all social medias. Like can't be Gremlin785 on Twitch, even though I do have the command in the chat or whatever for you to find me. Like even just changing up the numbers on the end or substituting an I for an L because it's not available, stuff like that. Like, it just has to be clean across all platforms.
I agree. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a thing that needs to be, when you're thinking of a name for anyone out there that's maybe thinking of streaming or starting content creation, definitely make sure that whatever you decide on, make sure it's available on all the things you need it to be available on. I think it's pretty big.
Speaking of that, you have the little dick weasels that go around and just start creating accounts for all these random stuff on all these channels, and I feel like they hold on to them and in hopes that like the person will come to them and try and buy the name from them. I'm guessing that's what they're doing that for. They're trying to sell them their own brand back, or are they just doing it to be like cunts? Like I don't get it.
I don't think they necessarily do that with like Twitch names. I mean, I definitely see people like taking or copying people's names on Twitch just to seem like they're that person. But obviously I don't think those are serious streamers. And the biggest place where like that's an issue is if you're trying to make a website. Like if Nick, if he got really huge, like he had like 40,000 people watching him, he better have some sort of Gremlin785 website ready to go, because people are going to try to take that away from him and try to sell it to you for more than it's worth.
Isn't that so shitty though?
It
Like he's
is,
probably
for
doing it
sure.
right now. He's looking it up.
No, but that was actually a big thing in the Call of Duty community back in the day. It was like, so for example, Scump, everybody knows who Scump is,
Mhm.
main slayer for Optic Gaming. People will have the accounts to where if he were to join a different organization, they would have like the Envy Scump
that's
handle
shitty.
or whatever, so he couldn't get it. And another thing is, I didn't even try to get like the @Gremlin with no numbers on Twitter, but I went to the account just because I was curious, and they blocked me. Like
What
I
the
can't even see
fuck?
their tweets or anything. So
Dude, that's so jacked up. Like they
I
did that
know.
literally just to piss in your Cheerios, dude.
Just a piss in your Cheerios. Yeah. Yeah. So it's, yeah, like that's definitely some good advice for people starting out is to have solidarity across all your accounts and make sure, even for something like you may not do in the beginning, like Instagram, you probably want to take the name early on just in case.
For sure, yeah. I probably use Instagram like once every 6 months, and it's more like the personal side of my life. Like whenever I take a trip or whatever it is, I don't really promote anything on there yet, at least, but I still have the same username.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really important.
Instagram is just pictures, right?
Yep. And
Yep.
videos.
It's like a photo bucket.
They recently added like clips and videos, so that's why a lot more content creators are starting to use it now, for Twitch and everything, because they can actually upload like little clips and videos now on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a thing, with YouTube dying and all.
The dumpster fire that is YouTube.
Might be the next place to go.
So you come from the Call of Duty community. When did you start playing? I know you do shout. I think Asin said you do shoutcasting. Do you do that for Call of Duty?
Yeah, actually. So what happened with my like how I got into gaming? I guess we could talk about a little bit. Is for Christmas in 2011, my parents got me a PlayStation 3 with Call of Duty. Black Ops 1 was the newest one. It
Nice.
just came out like a month ago, and like I literally just fell in love with it. Just like the fact, like I've always played on the PS2 and like the Nintendos growing up, and I didn't even know online gaming, like being able to play against other people, was a thing. And so you hop into multiplayer and you're playing against other people. It's like, oh, this is legit. And then you get good at that, and obviously you're looking up like, okay, are there tournaments? Can I make money from this? Like,
Yeah.
even though you're clueless when it comes to the competitive scene, like you're interested. And so you play competitively, or you get into like the Game Battles website and just play like some search and destroy competitively, and it's just a whole different ball game from public match Call of Duty. So that lasted from like Black Ops 1 up until actually really really recently, like World War II, like just last Call of Duty 2000, what was that, came out in 2017, right?
Yeah, it was within the last couple years. I know it's still fairly new.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I literally would hardly ever touch anything other than Call of Duty. Campaigns can't keep me interested because you play through them and they're done.
Yeah.
But there's
Right.
something about. Go ahead.
We're just agreeing with you.
Oh yeah, like the competitiveness of just online gaming and becoming the best is just what really intrigues me. And I never really tried streaming. I didn't have the equipment for it. I didn't know anything about Twitch. Like I would watch streamers and everything to just like learn more about the games, but I didn't think it was something I would ever do. I would just like focus on being a competitor and like playing in online tournaments, search and destroy tournaments, whatever it may be. And then how the shoutcasting thing happened, literally I would just be dead in a round of search and destroy. For anybody who doesn't know, search and destroy, if you die, you don't respawn until the next round, so you're
Right.
dead while your teammates are alive. And I would literally just commentate their gameplay, and it would like make them laugh, or something crazy would happen, and I'm there commentating it, and it would be like, oh shit, like this just became a clip, and with me commentating it became even better. And we just get some clips to go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is, and then KC Game On is a local tournament hoster that has had me out a couple times to commentate Fortnite.
Nice.
Their Call of Duty is ran by another company that's there, so they have their own casters and everything. But I've done Fortnite too. But yeah, up until Fortnite came out, like the Battle Royale came out, I literally only played Call of Duty, and then my friends started playing Fortnite, so I tried it, and it's been my main thing since. So probably for like last 9 months or so is when I started playing it. I still play Call of Duty here and there on stream. I can commentate both Call of Duty and Fortnite. Both are really fun to play. Both are fun to commentate. So yeah, those are the main 2 games you'll see on my stream. I try to play like some horror games and some variety back in October, and it just, like I said, I can't stay having fun with it, with really anything else. Like, so yeah, another key to streaming is definitely playing what you enjoy and what you have fun with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I stick to.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that you were playing Fortnite earlier, and that's cool though, man. Like shoutcasting is definitely something that that's I've been interested at some point in doing, but I don't know the ins and outs of games that well. Like I'd have to really, really get into a game to be able to shoutcast it, and I'm sure you do. But I mean, I started out, I'm a little older, but I started out playing like Call of Duty United Offensive, and I played competitively online, like search and destroy type maps and stuff, and I loved it back then. But for the longest time, I didn't get back into Call of Duty, and I tried the new Black Ops 4, but it kind of fell off pretty fast for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know what it was about the new Black Ops 4. Like, I stopped playing Call of Duty after Black Ops 2. Like, I didn't play Ghost or whatever the last one was where they're flying around with fucking jetpacks and, like, running on walls and shit. And I was going to come back for the World War II because, like you said, we started playing back in the United Offensive days, back when, Call of Duty first came out. And so, to me, Call of Duty's always been that niche World War II game. And so playing these newer ones kind of made me fall off. I didn't care for it. But I actually ended up not coming back to play World War II because I watched on streams. And I was like, it's the same thing. They just changed the weapons. Like, it felt like a revamped Battlefield 1. And I was like, like
I feel that.
I'm good.
The Call of Duty community is very vocal, and also they can just kind of contradict themselves, because back in 2014, Sledgehammer made the Call of Duty and innovated with like the advanced movement or the jetpacks for the first time. And in my opinion, it was a ton of fun because it was the first game with jetpacks, and you didn't have like a limited boost like Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare had later down the line. You could like boost literally all around. The game was so fast paced, and I enjoyed it a lot, even though it was different. And then Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare was really when I was like, man, this just isn't really enjoyable. So when I was playing, it still was those games. I just, was focused on like doing work outside of gaming, and for the majority of those years. And then World War II came out, and I started grinding it a lot, but it got a lot of flack for being boring as a competitive game. There wasn't a lot of like flashy plays that could be made.
Right.
And the big thing with Black Ops 4 for me is I actually enjoy it for the most part. The thing that Treyarch tried to do to innovate this year was add the 150 health instead of just the standard 100. And so it takes a couple extra bullets to kill, and that, like,
the time to kill was terrible.
Game.
Like this is my thing. This is why I tend to kind of go more towards games like CS:GO and old Call of Duties, and Battlefield is just I actually, that's the part I don't like about the new Black Ops 4 is it takes so long to kill somebody. And on top of that, I don't know if you've seen those clips or videos of people like slowing it down, like slow-mo on Black Ops 4, where you're shooting at someone and it's showing the tick mark every single time. There's this specific video I saw where this guy was shooting the target. The target was like going down. His health was going all the way down. He still had full 150 health. And the guy shot back at him and killed him before he could finish him off, because his bullets were showing that they were hit markers, but they weren't registering to the health of the enemy. So like he still killed him before he could kill the other guy. So it was just like little bugs like that turned the game off for me. I don't know. So I don't know. It's not bad though. Like as far as the last few games, like Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, I do think it's a better game, and they're going in the right direction. But I would say my last, favorites before Black Ops 4 was like, Modern Warfare 2 and World at War. So those are like my favorites back in the day.
Mm-hmm. With Black Ops 1 being my first Call of Duty, I think that caused me to favor Treyarch over Infinity Ward as a developer. And obviously I went back and played Modern Warfare 2, but I never got to play it in its prime when it was the new Call of Duty, which sucks because, I see the gameplays and like how iconic, getting a nuke was back in the day. But I think I favor Treyarch over Infinity Ward for the most part. But if Infinity Ward in 2019 can make a Call of Duty with like no advanced movement, with just a standard 100 health, with good map design like they normally have, I don't know. I think I could favor Infinity Ward, the next Infinity Ward game, over Black Ops 4.
Which one was the last one they made? Was it World War II?
World War II was Sledgehammer, and then Infinity Ward made Infinite Warfare, which went down as pretty much the worst Call of Duty of all time.
Yeah, because I know Treyarch's the one. Like any of the Call of Duties that have zombies in them are pretty much Treyarch,
right?
Because that's a Treyarch thing.
Do they have like contracts with Call of Duty? Like they just bounce from creator to creator to creator, and then just like re-roll it back to the first person? Because I know they've all made multiple versions. Are they just looking for a different company to do something different to make their franchise bigger, or are they just like, why don't they stick with one developer?
Since I got into Call of Duty, I just know that it's been it used to be back and forth every year between Treyarch and Infinity Ward. They would just alternate, and then when 2014 came around and they made Advanced Warfare, Sledgehammer added to the mix. So it's been every 3 years between the three companies, and I don't know the reasoning for that. I don't know. I guess it just keeps things fresh, I guess, and gives them more time to make a more polished game than just pumping one out every year, I guess, would be the reasoning.
Yeah. I think, I actually think all those companies are like sister companies of Activision. Like Activision,
sense, yeah.
Activision like owns them, and they just kind of all alternate between the Call of Duty games. But I could be wrong about that. But anyway, so we're going to go to the main point here of this podcast that we got you on for. And
how did this whole thing start? Like me and Asin, of course, we both are logged into the Cold One Podcast Twitter. And so my phone, I think, was going off at work, just kept buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And I picked it up and I looked, and like you guys had been already talking about this whole subject. Was it a tweet that Nick put out that you had just commented on? Like, how did you see that tweet?
Yes, I actually don't know how. I think it might be because Hell's Gates might have liked it, and that's how I saw it, because I follow Hell's Gates, and I know you're in Hell's Army, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So I might have seen it that way, because I didn't follow Nick before, but so I saw that, and I mean, I was in a disagreement with it, so I commented on it, and it was like a civil conversation. It wasn't like I was like, "Oh, you're so stupid. Like, why do you think this way?" I think everyone has their own opinions on it, and I enjoyed the conversation because it was civil and we went back and forth, and then and then he suggested that it'd be a good discussion on a podcast. So
before we get into it, go ahead and like let them know, or kind of remind me, and then tell the listeners what the whole conversation, like the premise of it was.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say I agree completely. Like, I'm 100% thankful for the civilness of the conversation that we had, because obviously there was some negative replies to it and just bashing me or whatever it was, and you're going to get that anytime you share your opinions on social media, regardless of what it is. But basically what happened was you mentioned I was in Hell's Army, and obviously I'm just trying to get my name out there as much as possible, so I'm in a few communities within Discord. Basically is the biggest way to network with other streamers. And I don't really want to talk about the names of the individuals, but there's a community that solely focuses on partner pushing for their like founding members or their leaders in a sense. So what I saw happen in this community was this streamer who's actually, I really enjoy their content and I'd be in their streams from time to time. Uh, they average 30 to 40 viewers, a decent sized stream. And um, then one day there was like an announcement in the Discord that everyone got tagged like, hey, we're going to start a partner push for this person. Be sure to be in the streams as much as you can, host the channel, raid the channel, whatever it is, and we're going to get this person partnered. And it's like,
I mean, partner pushing is basically somebody got randomly picked from a community that you guys are inside of, and then the leaders of that community are trying to make everybody support this person to get them to partner status from affiliate, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Pretty much. I wouldn't say randomly picked. I would say that it's someone who helped either found the community or has been there since the beginning.
Right.
Okay. And it's never going to be a channel that's, recently affiliated or 2 to 3 average viewers. It's going to be a channel that's up there in size, like 30 to 40 average, and has a good following. But yeah, basically just getting that final push to partner so they can make the ad revenue and get the check mark by their name, which is a great, that's obviously the goal for everyone when you're streaming on Twitch. Everybody wants to become a Twitch partner. But the tweet that I had said, once the partner push was over and they achieved partner, they got the check mark by their name, they're right back down to where they were with the 30 to 40 average. And so it's kind of like a false support system is the way I see it, at least, to where you have these people helping you get partner, but then once you get it, you're just right back to where you were. And what caused the problem for me is that, so if I got chosen to be partner pushed, of course, like, it would be a great feeling while it's happening, because to get the 75 average viewers that you need to be partnered on Twitch, to bring you up from the 30 to 40 or whatever you have, you're going to have more than 75, while the partner push was going on. Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah.
While the partner push was going on, he was averaging 120 to 130 viewers per stream to get his average up there. And then once he gets it, it's just back down. So I feel like that would be the ultimate morale killer and like demotivation for streaming, is seeing that drop back off once you get partner. Because, partner to me should happen naturally. And so once you get that 75 average and that you get the check mark by your name, you continue to grow at your rate that you're growing at. Getting back down to where you were, essentially, just you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of that. This is my thing is, so if someone were to, start with those 30 concurrent viewers and then they got a partner push, and then after the partner push, they fell back down to 30, but they were a partner. For some people, yeah, that would be a morale killer. For others, that would be just another step of motivation for them to get better. Because if they're back down to 30, that just lets them know, hey, my content might not be as good as I think it is, and I need to work on things. And that's okay. This is the reason why I don't think partner pushing is a bad thing. Obviously, it's bad if it's forced. If you're in a community that, someone's being partner pushed, or like the leader of this community is telling you, hey, you need to go do this, you probably need to get out of that community, because that's sounds like a little dictatorship. But that's what a community should be about, though, is that if you get close with the people, and that's also why I'm not a fan of these like huge communities where they have infinite amount of members, where you can network in there, but you can't really get to know everybody in there. And the reason those aren't as good to me is because when someone's partner pushing in there, some people either have to be forced or they won't help push someone to partner. So what I'm trying to get to is that like with a smaller community, you should want your peers around you to grow with you and help you partner push if you naturally are getting to that point where you get close to partner. So that's my whole point is if you can get to partner faster, I don't think there should be judgment necessarily on how someone got there. Everyone has their own paths. Everyone has their own journey to get to partner. And this counts for anything. You know, it can be a promotion at work or a job or anything. You know, your path there is your own journey of getting there. And I mean, I mentioned this in last week's podcast, but I always bring up this quote is that luck equals preparedness when preparedness meets opportunity. And so if you're prepared with decent content and the opportunity comes to you to be partner pushed or helped in that sort of way, I think it would be dumb to turn it down. Especially if, you know, if you do have really good content and you do get partner pushed, yeah, you might be getting a false support system, but if you actually have really good content, you should keep a lot of those people. Like just naturally, if they like you, you know, that's just a lot of exposure. And that's what I think streaming is really about, is like you need exposure to get bigger. That's the biggest thing, is you don't have to go to other people's channels and ask to be followed or any of that, but like getting exposure from your peers is just the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why lurking is such a huge aspect of support that people don't even realize. Is just like the higher you up are the higher up you are on the viewer list. Like I play a game like Fortnite where thousands of people are streaming it at any given time. Somebody leaving the tab open just to give me that one extra viewer bumps me up on the viewer list, and so a person has to scroll that less farther down to find my channel. So, you know, you get 10 people to lurk your stream or just leave the tab open for you, you become that much higher up and you'll increase traffic to your channel. But as far as partner pushing goes, one thing I wanted to bring up was, instead of calling it a partner push and making sure everybody was there for every stream, what if communities just did like, which some communities do this, but instead of calling it a partner push, what if they just did a featured streamer of the week or of the month, where you know, in Discord you get the now live role and everybody can see who's live in the community on the right, but you could get like your own role of featured streamer, and that way that increases traffic to your channel. And I think the benefit of that versus a partner push could be that you know, you could have a featured streamer that is still a new affiliate that has the 5 average viewers, and it's not just catered towards the guys or girls who are up there, which obviously if they've earned that 30 to 40 average, it's not easy, but maybe you deserve a partner push. I don't know. It's hard to say what's right and wrong. Like if I did get selected, it would be hard to say, you know, I don't want to do this, because everybody, like I said, that's the goal, is to become a Twitch partner. But at the same time, I think that drop once I got partner would just, you know, demoralize me in the long run.
I'm going to make this analogy, and it's probably not the best analogy to make because I don't condone this behavior at all, but a partner push to me sounds like somebody that just lined up a fat line on a table and just took the booger sugar to the brain for a week. And they were flying high, feeling good. And then as soon as that's all done, they're coming back down and they're going to hit rock bottom. Like, I understand the concept of what they're trying to do, but once you come down from a high, you feel like shit. It doesn't matter what high you're coming down off of, it, whether it's life, your job, marriage, friendships, anything. Once you've hit those peaks and you come back down, you're like, why can't it always be as good as what it used to be? And then, you know, there may be some people that can handle that, but when you've felt good about something, you're really enjoying it, and then it dials way back and you're sitting there just looking at it, you're like, man, this is shit. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I would love to have that happen, but I feel like I would have to say where someone comes to you, they're like, hey, we're going to give you all the support. We're going to make your dreams come true. But once we're done, I'm withdrawing my viewers. You may have some stick around that support you, but that community as a whole is going on to the next partner push, and they're probably not gonna stick around because they're a fluffer for that community, and that's a really terrible term to use. But that's what they're doing. They're going around and they're fluffing people. They're keeping them hard while they're waiting for the next best person to come along. And at the end of the day, like, I feel like the disappointment from going back down to those smaller numbers is going to ruin someone's drive to continue pushing than it would if it just grew organically. Like, I think organic growth in Twitch community is probably the most important thing.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that partner pushing also isn't a bad thing. And the reason that analogy sucks with the booger sugar is because it doesn't take into account that what if you're on the booger sugar and then it just keeps happening. You stay high.
Well, I mean,
see, like that's what I'm saying. If you do get partner pushed and you're at 30 to 40, and then you come out of that partner push and all of a sudden you're averaging 100 people just because they liked you so much, you're never going to look at that partner push and be like, man, that sure was shitty. You're never going to do that. So like, that's the thing. It's like, you have to be responsible enough as a content creator to know I'm ready for this. And I think I have the content. And yeah, I mean, if it fails, yes, it's going to suck. I'm not going to sit here and say that if you went back down to rock bottom, you're going to be like, all right, well, time to get back on the grind. You're probably going to have some depressing weeks, but I don't think that's the partner push's fault. It's also not required. Like, if someone asks you like, hey, we're going to partner push you, you can still be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I just don't think that, like, people from the outside looking in, like we all are, since none of us have been partner pushed. I think from the outside looking in, we shouldn't look down upon different methods of people getting to partner, even if they fail afterwards. That's just one path that someone can take, and it can bring success and long-term success too.
True.
I mean, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it can turn out to be a good thing. I don't think I've seen enough partner pushes to make an accurate call on whether that happens a good percentage of the time. I've specifically probably seen 2 or 3 in the community, which isn't a ton, obviously, but none of them have turned out that way, which is what inspired the tweet. And that's why we're talking about it today, is because at least for me, more often than not, it turns out to flop afterwards.
Yeah.
And another thing that we talked about is the streamer themselves ready to be a Twitch partner? Because obviously, I worked in management, fast food management, actually, before I ever started Twitch streaming. I was like a co-partner with Sonic, so I was pretty high up. And one of the analogies that we learned was that becoming a manager, you kind of lose some freedoms that a passenger has in a car when you become the driver. The
Right.
passenger can sleep on the car ride, they can look out the window, they can read a book, whatever, versus the driver always has to focus. They don't have the freedoms that some of these guys have. So when you're an affiliate with Twitch, you can probably get away with a lot more inconsistencies or whatever it may be than when you become a partner with Twitch, because ultimately it is becoming a business partner with Twitch.
Right.
And I'm sure they're going to look at your content a lot more frequently and be on top of making sure you produce the best possible content that you can.
Will they remove a partnership once you become a partner? Will they take that away if you start
I don't
doing
know.
shitty?
That's a good question. Is that
That is a good question. I'm not sure if they revoke partnership. I'm pretty sure affiliate, once you're affiliate, it stays that way, but I believe partner can get taken away. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's what it is.
That'd be pretty demoralizing.
Wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, that whole concept just seems scary to me because, I don't know, like the idea of having somebody give you something that you've always, here's where I'm going with this. Whenever I play video games, I set goals for the video game. And I probably shouldn't do that because there's a lot of times where I get to play in a game, like Ark Survival Evolved, for instance. We set out to build this badass house and all this kind of shit. I don't know how many hours we put into doing this. We finally got it done, and then I was like, well, I'm done with the game. I don't want to do anything else. I spent all the time doing this, and I'm done with it, and now it's time to move on to something else. And I feel like that's almost what would happen, me personally, if I ever went on Twitch and tried to become a streamer. My goal, of course, would become affiliate and then become a partner. And then once I hit partner, it's almost like, man, it's time to take a break. Like I hit that shit. Like I'm there and I'm going to fucking cruise for a little bit.
That's when you need to grind the most, probably.
Well, exactly. But that's what I'm. Yeah.
Ahead,
I mean, that makes sense. Like once you hit that, that's when, boom, the grind's got to start. But you've been grinding and hustling, trying to get there. And if somebody gives you that little nudge and you hit that like prematurely, you make that goal way faster than what you thought, you're going to be like, man, it's time to take it, relax a little bit. And
So it depends on the person. It depends on the person.
Right. I mean, that's the whole gist of this conversation.
Right.
It's different opinions. But I think it goes back to what Nick was saying is the person has to be ready to fill those shoes. And if they're not, like, it's not doing you any good.
Right. This is another thing is like, kind of getting away from the partner pushing part. There's a lot of different methods, like a ton of methods that are looked down upon by many different people. Some that you may agree with, some that you'd be like, oh, that's the shittiest thing to do starting out. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of different opinions on different things on how to grow your channel. And there's people that succeed in every single way. So you can't say any of them are bad. And that's why I don't. Like, I know from the outside, now bear with me here. I have said this on another podcast. I don't necessarily think follow for follow is bad. I'm not saying it's good because it's mostly not good. Like I said in the other podcast, like 99% of follow for follow is horrible for what you're trying to do. But there's that 1% that is there. And if someone makes it with follow for follow, why should any of us judge how they made it? That's kind of my point with any of this is like with partner pushing or follow for follow, or there's other little things that people do that I notice that they don't think I notice. Like on Twitter, for example, someone will say something that is an obvious agreement across all content creators, but they say it because they'll get a bunch of likes and retweets. It's common. It's more subtle maybe than partner pushing or follow for follow, but it's there, and I get it. And some people do look down upon that. I've talked to people that are like, that's not the right way to do it. But everyone hustles in their own way, and I don't think we should like down anybody on how they're hustling, how they're getting their content out there. It's someone's gonna make it in some shitty way, but once they've made it, people aren't really gonna look back at their journey. I mean, they're still gonna have all those followers. They're still gonna grow, and if they have good content, they deserve to grow.
True. Reasoning why I don't agree with follow for follow is because when I look at the size of a channel, and I'm trying to not compare myself, but see, I'll stop in a stream, see that they have like double my viewers, double my followers, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just ask them how long they've been streaming, so I can get an idea of kind of what they do and how good their content is. The first thing I look at is obviously the channel views. That's going to be the biggest number on your channel. I'm currently sitting at like 14.2 thousand, something like that. And then next up will be your followers, which is obviously going to be a percentage of your channel views. And then your viewers, your active viewers that you have, is obviously going to be another small percentage of your followers. So it goes channel views, followers, viewers. And across Twitch, what I've noticed is what I consider good content creators or entertaining people that I like to watch, their percentages are higher because the more people that come across their channel are going to leave the follow, or they're going to come back to the streams. And the people who are not necessarily as entertaining, or don't have a webcam, or don't invest into putting good content out, have those really, really small percentages where they'll have 20,000 channel views have been to their stream, but they'll only have 200 followers, which I say only, but 200 followers is an accomplishment. But at the same time, could that be because of follow for follow? Because I could probably go around to every Fortnite stream with 0 to 5 viewers and type in the chat follow for follow, and they'd probably be down to do it, because the majority of people don't know about Discord and networking and joining communities and
Yeah.
making those relationships. And like, I could probably have 10,000 followers on my Twitch account, but still average 20 to 30 viewers. So like, what is those 10,000 follows if I'm still averaging the same amount of viewers?
No, my thing with follow for follow, I agree with all that what you just said. My 1% of a pro that can come from follow for follow, it happens on like social media. That's where I think it can count. And the reason I say that is if you're follow for following on Twitter, and I don't support it, we don't do it, but I still don't look down upon it, because when you do follow for follow and you get all these people and then you delete a bunch of people, like, so it looks like you're only following 200 people and you have 2,000 people following you, you look like a badass.
You look like a dickhead.
You do look
Honestly.
like a dickhead, but this is the thing. The 1% thing that's a pro is a company looking at it. They're going to look at your numbers. What are they going to see? 2,000 followers. Oh, this guy can tweet something. 2,000 people are going to see it. It's a very small pro, but it's there. It's there. There's something that can be gained from it. Still wouldn't recommend it, but people can do as they wish. So I'm not going to tell anyone to stop doing follow for follow, because I've seen people get big with follow for follow, and that's their own choice.
It's definitely not nearly as bad as doing it as on Twitch, because following someone on Twitch and never even watching their stream to see if you like their content in the first place, you're never going to stop by.
Right.
Versus following someone on Twitter and just reading their tweets or whatever, you're going to read their tweets when you're scrolling through your timeline, but you're not going to just randomly click on their stream, you know what I mean? So it's not a huge problem on Twitter. I agree with that, because like, if I see somebody that follows me, I'll go read their bio, see what they play, or read a few tweets, and if I like what they do, I'll follow them too and give them a chance, and then from there I'll stop by their stream, and that's how a connection is made.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do that on Twitter a lot too, especially with the kind of podcast we are. I mean, we talk to a lot of content creators, so if a content creator follows us, we want to check them out and see what they're about, and invite them on if we like them. So yeah, I mean, we kind of do it, but we don't necessarily search for that or ask people to follow for follow or anything like that. But
we do delete people that follow us. We follow them back, and they unfollow us. We unfollow them. Like, I am on Twitter like a scavenger. Like, I'm watching for those people where you're like, man, that's probably somebody following, trying to get a follow. Because I'm always going to return a follow from a content creator that follows our channel because of the podcast that we do. Because, hey, they're checking us out. We'll check you out. Maybe they would want to come on the podcast. And the reason I like doing this podcast, as I said before, is I love getting to sit down and get to know our guests for an hour. Like, had I not been doing this podcast, I never would have got the chance to have a conversation with you, except unless I pass by you on Twitch. And like, I love doing this. I love having these general conversations. So I will always return a follow. But if you're the douchebag that unfollows, like, we're gonna unfollow you too. Like, that's like, I don't know. It's like,
the thing is though. Yeah, the thing is though, unfortunately, is a lot of people are like those subscriptions where they get you, like, they're like, oh, pay us $5 a month, and then you forget about it after the first month and you just keep paying.
Not this motherfucker.
I mean, yeah, like, we pay attention to it, but a lot of people don't, so they just continue following people.
For sure. That's the power of Twitter, man. Like I said at the beginning, we're literally here doing this because of a tweet and expressing your own opinions, and because you
Yeah.
never
Right.
know. Obviously, I have like 600 followers on Twitter or something. I don't normally have a tweet that gets more than 10 likes or 5 retweets or whatever it is, but that tweet for whatever reason just blew up and got like 450 likes and earned like 20,000 impressions or something crazy like that. And so you never know. People underestimate the power of social media, especially on Twitch.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you said you love to do the podcast and sit down with these content creators, and that's exactly the reason I loved streaming, is because I've literally had viewers from all over. Like I said, I stream overnight a lot, so I have viewers in Europe or Australia or wherever else, and it's just connections that I never would have had if it weren't for the internet, man.
Mm-hmm.
As much flack as the internet gets for like taking away from in real life relationships and whatnot, I think the internet's a beautiful place, man, and it's really really made some positive impacts on my life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, man. Well, we pretty much hit an hour, so we're going to go into our random question of the day to kind of start closing things out. But this is Nathan's idea. It was
Oh wow, throw me under the bus, dude. He's like,
Yeah,
bro,
because
I
it's-
need a random thought. I gave him a random thought, and he's like, well, this one's shit. We're gonna roll you under the bus.
We are going to roll you under the bus.
I don't even remember what I asked. So
This is a true random question of the day, and it is what was your favorite part of high school?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Favorite part of high school?
Yeah. You can start, Nathan, if you have something in your head.
Dude, I don't. I mean, the thing I remember most about high school was when I started driving, and you're a kid, you start driving, get to drive to high school, you think you're a badass. Now I'm driving, I'm on the road. So that's probably one of the things that I remember most about high school was pulling up and getting to park in the parking lot like a big boy.
What
know,
a
I did-
fucking loser. That's such a bad
What?
answer.
No, it's not.
I'm just
It's part
kidding.
of
dude.
growing up, dude. Like, I didn't have to ride the bus no more. I was cool, except for I was in an 87 Chrysler 5th Avenue. It was a pimp mobile. Like, it had shag carpet and everything. Like, it was blue interior, blue shag carpet. But I don't know. If it wasn't that, it would have to be just the people I met while I was in high school. I mean, I went to a bigger high school. I think I graduated with 1,300 people.
Yeah.
So kind of like this podcast where you get to meet new people, you'd almost get to meet a new person every day at school. Like, you would pass by somebody you'd never seen before. Like, how long have you been going to the school? But I was a little scaredy shithead, and I didn't like to talk to people. So I was that guy that never talked.
You're
I was
still
all
like that.
Yeah, shut up. People aren't supposed to know that. But yeah, I mean, I love getting to know new people, so I think that's probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah, mine would have to be freshman year. I played on the football team, and just going to weights in the morning before school became a huge part of my life, because
Mm-hmm.
I've always been kind of a scrawny, smaller guy, and getting into weights and just working out and eating healthy every day made, like, I bulked up a little bit, and I didn't even know going into high school that like weightlifting meets were a thing.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually, like in the winter of freshman year, I went to these weightlifting meets, and being in like the lower weight classes, there were barely anybody in those weight classes. So I would come home with the gold for bench or squat or whatever it
Nice.
was. And so that was definitely a cool high school highlight. Yeah. Other than that, I stopped playing football junior and senior year because I got a job and started working and everything, and put a lot of focus on that. And not that high school was boring or anything, just nothing really sticks out to me at the moment, other than anybody listening to this podcast, and you guys should too, look up Topeka High School. It's literally a castle. Like, you guys will be amazed. It's
Topeka High School? Is that
Topeka High School
Kansas, I'm assuming?
in Kansas. Yes, it looks like a castle. It was built in, I think, like the early 1800s, maybe even.
That's dope.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. It looks awesome.
Is that where you went?
Yeah, all 4 years. Yep.
Nice.
Damn.
Felt like Harry Potter up in that bitch.
It was awesome, man. And the thing is, the school was only 3 stories, but the middle has like the castle part to it where it goes way up, and there's like a clock tower in there or whatever. And I remember being a freshman, like from the seniors. Hey man, we got a football meeting on the 4th floor after school today, or whatever it is, and you're thinking like, oh my goodness, like how do I get to the 4th floor? What the heck?
For me, well, I can go a really nerdy route, or I can go a really lame route. So which one would you guys like?
Nerdy.
Nerdy for sure.
God damn it. All right, well, I'm going to really show my high school nerd side here. I was in marching band all 4 years of high school. And like I went to a high school where maybe not nowadays because our football team is actually good now, but when I was in high school, our marching band was like the thing to be in. It was what won all the awards at the school and everything. And my freshman year, we actually won nationals, which is was a big part of my life. I met a lot of my best friends that I still talk to today in there, and we've all gone our separate ways, and I think only one person I know still actually does music, but it was just, I don't know, it was a really good time in my life. I had a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend it for other nerds out there
That play music, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, Topeka isn't a small town by any means. I mean, I think the population's around 200,000. And obviously, I graduated in 2016, so if I decided to go to college, I'd be a junior right now. But I still have those connections to where I'll hit those guys up every once in a while, especially the guys I played football with, and we'll talk or whatever. They watch my streams from time to time. They think it's really cool what I'm doing, and a lot of them are playing football at the college level.
That's dope.
Hell yeah, man. All right, Nick. Well, I had a ton of fun, man. I hope you did as well. I had a good time with the conversation.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I've never been on a podcast before, so it was actually really enjoyable. I like these conversations are just like thought provoking, and
yeah,
it just
absolutely
makes you think.
Yeah. Now, if people want to reach out to you, follow you on social media, come watch your channel or anything, what are some links that they can go to?
It's Gremlin785 across all social media. That's another thing. I should have thrown this in at the very beginning when we were talking about Gremlin785. The 785 is the area code. I get people that say like 785 or 785 or whatever, but yeah, 785 is the area code. That's where it comes from. Gremlin785 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, any social media, YouTube, whatever it is, wherever you're looking for me, that's how you can find me.
All right. Awesome.
'Twas a blast.
It was.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
Actually, we'll see you guys next year.
This episode actually already came out after the year, you dumb shit.
Hey, it's going to be there, okay? I just had to say it. It's fucking December 31st, all right?
All right. See you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and even if you didn't, we would love to hear your feedback, which can be sent to cold1podcast@gmail.com or leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us gauge how we can make this podcast better for your enjoyment. If you would like to contact us, you can do that through our email or follow us on social media, which is @cold1podcast for Twitter and Facebook. We are now on Spotify as well as most podcast apps in existence, but if you prefer to listen to it online, head on over to our website, actionsperminute.net, for the latest episodes, a link to the APM Network Discord, or to check out any of our APM sponsored streamers. And lastly, if you like what we do, tell your friends and spread the good word. Thank you again, and remember, don't drink.